What is it?
Plan and print. Plan and print. I don't know where I found it, it was in there somewhere. And, I think it's right next to the Quill Corporation.
What page are you on, Tom?
I have to find it, I need it.
Plan and prints on page 15.
And right next to that, is there another one?
Quill Corporation.
Well, what is that?
Quill is the office supplies.
Those office supplies? Plan and print would be,
That's a long time ago.
is that something to do with the construction?
No.
I don't think so.
I
Well,
would
let's
think
wait
that
for
would be
Ben to
that-
get
Well,
back.
I buy plans from Plan and Print, so that's why I want to know if they should be fine.
Page 15, you said?
Yes.
Bid set.
Where did she go? I didn't know this. I didn't get it. This is that first section.
I think her phone rang.
Okay, we have two, two questions. Plan and print.
That is, plan and print is part of the capital project, it was prepaid. Will,
So what do we buy?
the plan and print, the blueprints.
Bid sets.
Okay, we have to buy those separately?
So that's not part of their billables to us?
It's part of the capital project, but right now we put it to prepaid because we don't have the capital project set up yet. We're not far enough along to really set up a
So
separate account.
in the capital project, there is a line item to cover plans.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay.
And right now that's being reserved by the general fund. You also see a new bill from King and King. Once we get far enough along to set up a separate account,
Yeah.
we'll do that.
When will that be? When do they usually do it?
Wait till SED approval.
Okay, makes sense.
So you keep it there somewhere, so you know these.
Yeah, but that's why you see prepaid.
Okay?
It's all in the prepaid account. We do a schedule each year. Well, we did one last year. And if we don't end up setting up that separate account, we'll have a schedule done this year, of what it is and where we code it when we get it.
How do you know, this is part of the project. How do you know that you're not gonna run over on expenditures if you just willy-nilly pay for this, pay for that?
I forwarded that to the architects to make sure that it was included in their number.
Okay.
And they said, yes, put
It
it
is.
to this, once we get going. Yeah, no, I run everything by the architects, other than Carol Mills. And then once we do start setting up, we have fiscal advisors, they'll come on board and make sure that everything is in and fiscally.
What's, Red's equipment warranty for? That was the one I was on.
What page?
Okay.
15, same
Right,
page.
right below, Quill.
That was, I believe that was the bus for the lift parts?
Is that part of the project?
No,
For the,
that was repair.
Is that the amount we approved? Then, we approved that?
That would have been last year's.
Yes. This was due to the inspection.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Remember
Yeah,
that,
you told
that
me.
issue we had on all
You had the photos of
the,
it.
issue, yeah, photos of the.
Yep.
Well, we pay the New York State Department of Conservation
It's a yearly fee.
And
for what purpose?
probably, how we do the inspection of the boilers, our assessment, and probably,
So the samples,
Yeah.
water, yeah. Water runoff.
sample of the septic tanks and leach field.
I think all companies do.
Yeah, they did.
There's a big parking lot, you want to work with.
Any other questions? Comments? All in favor? Okay, this next motion is pursuant to the real property tax law certifying that following unpaid school taxes of 15 pages compared to the original tax roll and is found to be correct. Total due to the district, including interest, is $185,074.36, excluding any state wildland or state reforestation taxes. Do we all have a chance to review that? Any questions or comments? Can I have a motion? Or Reggie?
Second.
And Lynn? Questions or comments?
Is that any higher than last year?
Alright.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion is carried. I have a motion to approve the claims audit report dated November 6, 2013, as presented in the business office.
I will. Second.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report dated August 31st, 2013, on file in the business office? Motion?
Yes.
Second?
Chris?
Chris? Questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to abolish the tax tertiary reserve fund due to the time lapse and return the funds to the general fund? Motion? Rick? Rick? Questions or comments?
What is that?
That's, for any, lawsuits we have, that's for tax, if they were, challenging their claims, their assessment. We don't have enough, it was only 30,000, we don't have enough to support keeping it or renewing it, and the timeline has expired.
So 30,000 goes back to
The
the
general one.
Thanks.
Any other questions?
Why would you put that in general fund?
That's not just what,
That's their place.
Yeah, you can
You can't
return.
put it anywhere else.
we could create a new reserve, but with the situation being where we are, I prefer to have it in general fund.
Any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Okay, I have a motion whereas the Edwards Knox Central School District, the district is receiving certain charitable funds known as district scholarships. The funds, such funds may be used as grant scholarship students who meet the criteria specified in the documents establishing the funds. Does anybody want one? Do you guys need a motion? Rick? Motion, any second?
I'll second that.
Chris? Discussion.
This was passed through Andy Silver, Andy said it's fine to sign.
Okay.
Now, this is someone that takes care of our scholarship funds, is that what it is? So we give the money to these people, they dole it out for
Through, we still, we tell
It's
who
like
it goes
a-
to.
That's
Is it savings?
No. This is a community foundation, that's been around for about 58 years. And they make money actually on these funds. We're making no money on it. And there's years that we can't pay it because we don't make enough money on it. We can't invest the money, they can. And they still guarantee it, they,
I don't think you were here when we were talking.
now we started this last year, Tom.
So this is an organization, local organization, and that's what they do, is they take school scholarship monies and basically kind of invest in them.
They invest it, obviously.
And then they make return on their investment, so we can keep that scholarship fund going, but we can't invest, we can't, I mean, we're turning less than 1% on it, it's a crazy thing.
It was 0.2%.
Yeah.
That's the
Very
fund.
percent.
So we decided that it would be best if we could have someone like this manage it, and we can actually, the
So
funds
we could go
potentially
farther
grow.
out.
They can't change any of the grants or any of what they're built for. They just invest the money.
So they invested, and you tell them we need someone to go to a certain student
Yes.
because they went to medical school or something, and
Whatever the grant is, it's already been pre-assigned to, yes.
these people are happy to live off whatever interest they make.
They're a nonprofit organization.
We do a lot of places that use that.
We still get interest from them,
Yes.
so we make money, they make money.
Yep. This is
They
a lot of
also-
the partners that they just get to.
They also invest more time in, right, with the scholarships itself,
Oh, yeah.
and learning about the scholarships, learning how the donors want it spent.
Right now, we're making 0.2, they're making 5.
The other thing that they've done for other districts is they've created funds for the districts and have added to their scholarships. And we only add to our scholarships when a family member dies or, you know, to be more biblical. That's the only time we get in addition.
Okay,
Any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? The motion is carried. I have a motion to approve the APPR agreement with EK Teachers Association, 2013-2014 school year, as presented on file with Mr. Rouse. Rich?
Sorry.
Amen. Then, questions or comments?
did we already do this?
We did, there was one section on step 2 that said that it would be reviewed with each evaluation. The wording should have been, it will be reviewed and left open until 5/2/14. Steps 2, 3, and 4 should have been the same, and the wording had to be changed.
So we have to rescind the other motion we did?
Nope, we just redo this one, and then we'll put the new one up on the website. We'll have this resend it to state it.
Okay.
And the union agreed, they signed.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Do we want to do the presentations? No? Okay.
For those three things down below, do we do that now? I guess we get them, we had them, so we got it.
Do you want Becky to go first?
Sure. Whatever you guys think.
So I did the 5-year budget. If you flip over to the summary page and start there, those are the assumptions I made with respect to the budget. The teacher,
the summary page?
should be page 3.
It says summary on the top.
Yeah.
The teacher union raises, the contract's good for another year, so we started 2.5. Going forward, we estimated just 2%, not that that's a negotiation, but with the steps, they're guaranteed each year. We figured that was a good estimate.
Okay.
Same support staff, administrative raises with the discussion we had a few meetings ago. I stuck to the same as the teacher union.
Yeah.
Health insurance, they're predicting 9% this year. I kept that at 9%. In 17-18, I did not include this yet because things with the Affordable Care Act are still leery. We might be hit with a Cadillac tax, which a Cadillac tax for our plan costing too much. What they want is to, the health consortium wants to have everyone go to Rider 9, which is a higher copay, higher prescriptions for the brand names. That's a cheaper premium. That will fall in the regulations of the Affordable Care Act.
Is that prior to any other contract negotiations?
We'll have contract negotiations started 15, so it should be prior, it should be well within, you know,
So there's an opportunity.
established by
Yes.
then.
So if that's the case, actually health insurance will go down. Last time it went down, the difference was 12% between Riders 5 and 6 and Riders 9 this last year. Workers' comp, 7.5% increase this year. Again, I just carried that forward, not really knowing where it's going to take us.
Is that based on just here, or is that based on some type of state?
That's based on our consortium through BOCES.
It's the 18 districts.
Yeah. And this 9% and 7.5% was what we gave at the last meeting. BOCES, we did 4% last year. They, that's what they're estimating this year.
What's that increase based on? Do they use?
It's based on the raises, cost of living,
Administrative
administrative
costs
costs.
across the board.
Yeah. Now, some categories, and we noticed this last year, were higher, had a bigger increase. Some categories were lower. If you got, again, with retirement, if you retired teachers,
entire, all districts do, all business administration.
But this is the
Tech
business
ed.
office is what I meant.
It's part of that, it's in
Part
there
of
as
the business
well.
office, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
But we, even if we weren't in the business office, we would still be paying this.
Oh.
Okay.
Liability and other insurances, 2% is what seemed to be common for the last few years. TRS retirement, we actually just got our rates last week. They're going up 1.5%, which was a welcome relief because it went up from 11.84 to 16.25 last year. The only downside of this is that increased our tax cap, so that may limit how much we can raise taxes. We'll know more as we get further along in the process. ERS actually went down. And ERS, Employee Retirement System, and that's due to the new tier 6 coming in. The older generations, the tier 1 is retiring that were fully funded by us. So as we get newer blood in,
This is next.
Do you have your one here?
I don't know if
don't think we
there's
have
anyone
one
left.
No.
I'd say no.
And then utilities, I did 2% based on what was projected for last year.
Okay.
Now, I also, in this figure, I estimated bonding for the buses this year. And I estimated 2 buses for each consecutive year.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we're locked into that, that was just a rough estimate to help give us an idea of what our debt service
That's
would be.
baseline, some.
Okay, you need,
Oh, that's
it's
at the very bottom.
Oh,
And then the supplies, I know we cut last year. I reinstated them for this year, we can always cut them again, or cut them further.
Mhm.
Any questions on the assumptions I made? Budget? Okay. So if you look on the first page, it looks like we'll have a budget gap of 1.2 million without any increase in revenues. That's with no increase in aid, no increase in any of the taxes.
Do you think it's realistic that we won't get any increase in state aid?
No.
What's your best guess, just a guess?
The initial feelings are that it's election year next year, so they're optimistic.
Mhm.
Becky wanted to be optimistic, but I wouldn't let her.
No, that's-
I'd
that's-
rather,
no,
I'd rather take it
I agree.
as is and then hope you get more.
Yeah, and we're working on it at the right time, and not working on it in April.
Right.
And so in January, we will hopefully have the first round
Mhm.
of the governor's proposal.
The other school districts that you work with, I assume you're probably doing a similar exercise?
I will be.
Okay.
Actually, I have a meeting next week with Rick Tim, or not meeting, a conference with Rick Timms, who's really pushing the 5-year budget. So I'm anxious to see how he's presenting it and what it can help us.
Okay, that's why I was wondering if you're learning anything or from, working together with other people on this, anything that we're not fully understanding yet, or just a good snapshot.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's not encouraging necessarily, but it's
No.
So if the gap is 1.2, what's the tax rate gonna be?
Well, we can only raise it 2% without the exclusions. The exclusions, like I said, we won't be able to exclude TRS this year. ERS will be out because you have to have a 2% increase to exclude it. There's some capital issues that we might be able to exclude. Still waiting to hear back. We haven't started that part of the process yet.
Yeah, but what if it stays at this?
off the top of your head, just to help support Tom's question, a 1% increase in tax rate equates to how much income for the district?
Last year it was 17,000.
This year.
Just to put
This
things in
year it was
perspective.
Just put it in
I
perspective.
can't even think that high.
So this year maybe 19,000. Don't quote me on
So
that.
a 2% increase may bring $40,000 maybe to the district.
That's what it is now.
Mhm.
And that's a high.
Yeah, that's a
Yes.
high estimate. So there's absolutely no way you can overcome it with any kind of tax.
Taxes are not gonna do it.
No.
That's the bottom line.
So,
Jackie, is there any money you think that'd be left over from this year's budget that you roll over to next year's budget that will lessen that gap?
well, let's put it this way, last year,
Yeah.
if we hadn't had run into the crisis we did, we probably would have used about 200,000 as opposed to 600 if we had continued spending the way, if we hadn't halted the expenses. So, and that's, before that, I think we did an
snapshot, but certainly we're gonna start focusing in on the 14-15 budget.
Absolutely.
So going in, I mean, we're looking at 12.8 basically as our bogey, and that's kind of where we're baselining ourselves.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sue and I have already set up meetings for the technology department to see where we're gonna be heading towards. We want to create schedules so that we know next year what to expect in the year after. And look at, state-based testing, we're gonna have to obviously spend on that.
If nothing changes, say this kind of prediction starts to realize that some significant decisions need to be made.
Are we looking now at this present time of any jobs that might be cut? Are we thinking about that?
At this point, all we're doing is presenting this to then get what you folks want us to start to look towards.
I don't know if it's gonna be a large deficit.
I certainly wouldn't take it off the table.
I think it's only fair to the people, remember, if there's a chance that their job might not be here, or facing a large deficit, I think we should be told early enough so that they search employment elsewhere. And I think now's the time, if we look at this and if this holds true, we probably should think about talking to Herman. It looks like they're out there looking for someone to merge with or help out in their situation. I think we better pursue that.
I was sooner that rather than later.
Because
Yeah,
I
that's
feel like
something.
they were,
They are taxes.
Their tax rate went towards ours, correct? So that could be a
They
possibility.
did a revale, do you know how their tax rate?
no.
They're
Because I
still
think they're
higher
very-
than we are.
But it put us more in the ballpark.
I think so.
is
I
my opinion.
know for the team.
Okay, I think it put us, initially, we could not even consider merging with them.
It was like
Now,
$10, $100 or something like
Yeah.
that. It wasn't a big
Yeah.
difference.
Well, even before talking merging, I think we should start looking at sharing some services somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're gonna have to start looking.
Have they come back to you on any, yeah,
Somebody told me the other day they're looking at another school.
they are.
So,
Canton and Potsdam are working very strong.
Yeah, there's that too.
Who's on the right one?
They approached Governor Moore, I think, and Governor Moore did decline.
in the paper, they don't want nothing to do with it.
But, I mean, they started that meeting with us, we went with good intentions, we met, and we said we're gonna meet again, and we were shocked. So, I'm not really sure where, what,
I think we're crazy, we're so close and, we're the ideal.
When your school bus is dragged down the same road,
Yeah.
I don't see why they would stop. I mean, they're struggling with the same issues that we are. So,
Maybe we should get together and have another meeting.
we can do that. I mean, I can set that up. Our committee was Reggie, Tom, and who's the other, Lynn, okay.
I was there when
I don't think I was on that.
You weren't?
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
When will you get a good feeling on what the first date was in January?
End of January usually is the governor's run. Last year, the legislator came back with about 8,000 more for us.
It does, I mean, that's,
But it's already taken.
There's nothing into it.
that's, the merger is nice, common sense, but that isn't gonna help us with next year. We got two issues here, where we're gonna be in 10 years, and where we're gonna be
Next year.
next year.
Well, we're gonna have to do something drastic in 3 years.
well, the realisticness of a merger is a 3-year proposition. I mean, oh yeah, so you're truly, you have to start planning, but it's truly not gonna be for 3 years. Both communities have to vote, and, you folks, maybe you've been through this.
Couldn't we, even before any of that happens, like if we have to eliminate teachers, couldn't we combine classes from Herman Kelvin to school so the kids aren't cut out of a class?
Combined as far as saying, like, we'll take high school, we'll take elementary.
No, I mean, we're close enough that if they could set this, or whoever does it in the school district, set the schedule, the bus would take, what, 10 minutes, 15 minutes ride?
I think they want to do that.
It's faster. About 15
I was gonna say
minutes,
15 to
20
20. Take, I'm just fighting,
I could see where they set up like the, English and history be taken over there, like in the morning with some electives.
We're gonna classes. Great idea if you get 3 classes.
That's what I mean, it's over half a day.
Half a day.
I'm not trying to bring on your parade, but this is Utah, because my understanding from my relatives that work there is they're stretched right as tight as you can stretch rubber band right now. They have high school people teaching elementary classes. They haven't replaced people like crazy, and they're, so to throw more at them, they're probably gonna say no without a merger.
But I think when we're talking about hiring new teachers, et cetera, we should probably talk to them and maybe we can hire a teacher together or use one of theirs or use one of ours.
I think that's all on the table, that you say, potential shared services, or bus garage, or other services.
I'm all for a meeting.
Yeah, me too.
So it was Reggie, Lynn, and Randy. Okay. I will contact them.
Or any council doesn't listen. You have to be careful about.
Yeah, or,
Right.
Not more than 4.
Yeah, me and he's the other one.
Just you want to step in.
So if somebody wants to step in,
Just, if,
you said,
you know,
Sure. More power, the better. Well,
Thanks for putting this together.
yeah, it's good. It's not inconsistent from what you showed us.
No, actually, I just took what we did last year and updated it with what we had decided in the current regulation.
Okay. So we'll take it and digest it and.
the only other things, before we get going, we need to get, which is what John was asking about, anybody interested in Region Boston interviewing? Whatever John wants.
I'd be interested in the program, but I don't want to go to their breakfast. Is that what we're talking about?
Nope, that's not this.
Okay, that's the one I'm interested in.
Okay, that's not this.
Okay.
I don't even know if they're gonna have that this year, that's in the spring.
Oh,
No, he's talking about the law.
Oh, you're talking about the law one?
yeah,
Oh, when you said the breakfast, I thought, you know, every
Well,
spring we go.
according to the flyer, they,
That's the law one, that's in the morning.
okay.
Okay, so how many are interested in the flyer with the law firm? I know Lynn was, Tom, anyone else?
When is that?
20th, I believe.
Yep,
It is 20.
November.
9 to 11.
That sounds
Okay, so at this point, I'm registering Lynn, Tom, Becky, and myself. Okay? The next one, the Region Dawson dinner meeting. Anyone interested?
That's the one in Malone.
Okay? The only other thing that I have at this point, I had contacted Andy Silver on October 23rd regarding the soda issue that Mr. Smith brought forward. I still have not received a letter back from Andy. He's looking for supporting documentation, and at this point has not returned a letter, but he is interested, he is working on it.
Okay.
So I said, as soon as he gets it, I'll, give it back to you to contact Mr. Smith.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the need of the second meeting in November? So, based on, and that would be on the 26th of November, that's Thanksgiving week. Now's the time to agree, decide if we're going to have that meeting or not, if we need that meeting.
When do you guys want to break?
Kathleen Smith.
Unless there's some very important information that we need to discuss, I would say try to get through everything we need to get through today.
Do we have 2 meetings in December?
We just like one December every year.
And of course, January starts when we bring the budget time, so unless someone has a compelling reason why we should have our second November meeting, I would propose that we cancel the meeting in December.
We always have an emergency meeting.
We need to-
Absolutely. Pressing, yeah.
Absolutely good.
Sounds good.
So can I have a motion to cancel November 26th meeting? Rick? Any discussion, questions?
Yes. Should we maybe start the discussions, I don't know,
principal, there's time that we can do that. I think during budget season it'd be difficult. But, obviously the first couple meetings of the school year are pretty busy, and the budget season's pretty busy, but there's no reason why we can't, at the first meeting of the month, decide if we need that second meeting.
We also have a lot of, once a year type of thing that we talk about during evaluations and stuff like that, so, okay.
I can set you up with a calendar before, where you had one meeting for the first half of the year and then January.
Most schools only do it once a month, don't they?
Some have like a work meeting and then a board of tree, which, and some do it once a month.
And then opposed to that, we ended that. Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
Do we need a meeting?
At this point, that's part of the reason why I pushed the grievance tonight, to have that heard, because we wouldn't have met our timeline.
So you think we're clear then?
I think at this point, we're fine. And like I said, if we have to have an emergency, we could always do that, but there's nothing pending that we needed.
Yes, we did, but we'll need.
Yeah. Any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Do you want to bring these other things before we go into executive session?
I think they're all after executive.
Okay, based on executive session. Okay. Can I have a motion to enter executive session to discuss the medical financial credit or employment history of a particular person or corporation or matters leading to the appointment, employment, promotion, demotion,
Yes.
discipline, CSE, CPSE. Okay, Tom.
Second.
And then, all in favor?
I,
Opposed, motion carried.